Marguerite, this is an honor to have you here. A lot of people don't know we're actually personal friends, and it's nice to see her grow in the ecosystem, building great games, and really inspiring people. And I don't know, the one thing I hear over and over again about you is how you inspire your team, how you inspire others, how you bring about a different viewpoint in game development. So I sort of want to go back to 2013, when you were at Dark Wallet, building the Dark Wallet puzzle, and what was the inspiration to, first of all, it was so early in the ecosystem for blockchain, for creating some cryptography games. What led you into that, and sort of walk me through the beginning to Dark Puzzle Wallet, or Dark Wallet Puzzle?
Sure. So I actually was an artist in a gallery. I managed a pretty famous gallery in Carmel Valley in the Monterey area, and went to art school. And then I've always been in love with creative technology. Kind of fell in. My brother was in the military, and he was working on information warfare and whatnot. He found himself into the blockchain space really quickly, and then would come home, and he would be excited, and he would run off to do like a wire transfer, which sounded like a scam to me. And you know, if you've ever like seen people scammed on eBay, it's like it felt like that. And I was like, "What are you doing?" And this is like super early. Anyways, that conversation kept going, and then eventually wanted to set up a mining farm at my family's place. And I was like, okay, and when he started to explain to me that, no, there's like a network of computers all over the world talking to each other and solving puzzles. And I was like, oh, that's really cool. So I want to read more about that. And as I started reading more about it, I started making artwork for Bitcoin Magazine, like portraits of different people in this space. The one right before Dark Wallet Puzzle was one of Andreas, which had like little ones and zeros that it was drawing around him. And then I started thinking, it'd be cool if that actually meant something, if that was binary. And so when the next portrait that I did was of Cody Wilson and Amir Takai, I was like, okay, this is that chance to take that and hide something in there. What would I hide? And then I realized that Bitcoin being just characters, letters, numbers, that you could really turn that into all kinds of different patterns. So that was my first attempt at like just playing with Bitcoin in a creative way. So I hid a private key in a painting, and then made this. It was basically like I had just read Ready Player One, so it was a bit of a treasure hunt in the way that the painting was a starting point, and then it took me down all these weird rabbit holes across the internet, including the Minecraft wiki, which I had to talk a moderator into letting me post an image that had like additional information, like the puzzle information on it, but to accept it on the actual forum. So we did all kinds of things like this all over the internet, and it was the most viral thread on Bitcoin Talk ever at that time in 2014.
So educating people with the puzzles and doing creative marketing campaigns for Dark Wallet back then, what was the community like so early on compared to where we're at today? What are the patterns you see in the games that were being built when the puzzles being built? And then maybe even backing up just a little bit for anyone who doesn't know, what's a crypto puzzle?
Right. So in my mind, a crypto puzzle was, they credited me with creating it, so I guess I can say what it is. It's using a private key as and turning it into some sort of digital information that can be deciphered in a creative way that would use your genius as opposed to cracking it with a tool. So let me back up. You were asking about the community at that time. Actually, one of the coolest things for me is I'd never been part of the open source community, and I didn't know that there was such a thing. So being able to contribute in my own way and in a creative way was so exciting for me because I loved the idea of working from wherever I was and contributing. And then meeting people. So then I started teaming up with engineers. They liked some of my ideas. I found artists that were faster than I was by just being interested in as a collaborator in that space. So we ended up making a small team of 5 people, and then it was 10 people. And then we were being recruited because of the viral nature of the puzzles and the different interactive campaigns that we put together. Communities would basically congregate around them, and they turn into cooperative experiences, building a shared experience for this community in which to grow further from. So then I was recruited to be head of marketing at deCred, which was weird for me because I had only been Bitcoin and I didn't know. I was like, oh, I don't know, is that going to hurt my brand? But I really liked the devs there, and they were very serious about the product and building. And we built a pretty cool community back then in 2016, 2017. And the puzzles were used as almost like a recruiting tool. So they brought in not talent that stayed, and then people, we used them as ways to teach people about deCred and about, I guess, the company or the culture of it. And then from there, I guess, and the community space changed then, 2016, 2017. We saw that massive ICO thing that happened. And it was tough because when you had real legitimate projects that were working very, very hard, and then you saw these people get burned, or like, it basically just made you feel like you were not credible. Your project would not be credible just by association. So as I moved into the game space, then with the teams and the talent, we'd all gotten together and launched Blockade Games officially. We realized we were going to be fighting an uphill battle to get that legitimacy back. So we've been really careful in a lot of the choices we've made to be user-focused and I guess earn that respect from the game. We were talking about this the other day, like gamers are the most critical people you will ever meet in your life, probably. So we want to make sure we make all the smart decisions so we can have their support and the game developer support. So yeah, I guess the community took a big pivot back then, 2016, 17, but I think the people still building today are the ones that are really passionate and love what we're doing.
Minus your current game that's, well, one that was just released at ETH Boston, and two, Neon District in its whole. Do you have a favorite puzzle or game that's really personal to you that you created in the past, and why?
Yeah, I mean, I made one Flamin' Sixer. It was called Torch Hearts. It was the conclusion of what was called the Legend of Satoshi Nakamoto puzzle trail. And it was painted during the bottom of the bear market in 2015, 2014, 2015. And for me, we hadn't gone through this cycle before. So I think a lot of us didn't know, is Bitcoin going to come back? Or is that it? Was it a failed experiment? And it has a phoenix in it. So when Bitcoin came back with a vengeance, basically, it felt really cool to have that piece of this phoenix and had the private key, and it went unsolved for 3 years. And then at the top of the bull run for Bitcoin, somebody basically pulled the sword from the stone. And it was an engineer over well, he's anonymous, I'm not supposed to say where he's from, but he went on to then work with us.
Oh, wow.
After that, yeah, and for free. So yeah.
Let's talk NFTs. I guess the whole theory here is building for the masses, or how can we have engagement from different people from all around the world that don't know anything about blockchain. What do you think about NFTs, and how do you see that fitting into that whole puzzle?
Yeah, so I don't know if many of you are aware, but we made something called Plasma Bears back in February, which was the first free-to-play blockchain game. So people would sign in with a username, password, generate an account, and as soon as they started playing, they are minting tokens. There's no gas fees, no cost to them. We're using the network in this case. And we were looking at this user experience and how it would hold up, because it was going to be part of our tech stack from Neon District that we were building for the Blockade Games platform. So I guess what was cool about that is we could airdrop these assets across social media and in emails. So we partnered up with different big brands. We could partner with Portis and make a Portis Bear and airdrop them to all of your email subscribers, which as soon as they make an account, now they have basically a Blockade Games account that we can push to always. So anyways, I guess for us, that felt like a big major breakthrough, because that was a major feature we wanted for Neon District. We didn't want the friction that you see with general blockchain products. So we had that piece, and then we just recently, with Ledger of Zabo that we put out, it was fun because we did a Lightning network integration with Ethereum smart contracts, which I think a lot of us knew was possible if you're a developer in the space. It's just nobody had done anything with it yet. So it felt like a cool application for that. So I guess with NFTs, and I also just thought last weekend when we did the zombie versus humans game, it's basically a headless game where it's an NFT virus. So we got, if you saw it on social media, I asked everybody for an address. We distributed to 1,900 addresses a zombie or human token. And if you had a zombie, you could go infect a human wallet. But it can't leave your wallet. So what you're essentially doing, instead of moving it, you're paying for the fee to mint it in someone else's wallet. And once it would go into that wallet, it would turn your human into the zombie. This was for a hackathon at East Boston. But the point is that there's a lot of opportunity with smart contracts and creativity for headless gaming. It doesn't even require applications that can have a lot of fun that has yet to be explored. I think there's so much, like in that particular game, we essentially removed the opportunity for speculation, that you can't buy them, trade them. But it still means like you're playing with blockchain in a really interesting way. So I like to explore those options and like push boundaries. But with Neon District, we're taking all the best of everything we've been putting together and ramping up to launch this. It looks like a traditional game for most people. We're starting to get a pretty big following that is gamer focused as opposed to a blockchain focused, which is great because we're not limited by you having blockchain knowledge. That's something you learn later in the game, as far as maybe you have something valuable and let's direct you to where you can realize that value if you'd like, or trade for other assets.
Now, did I see you setting up a demo?
I did, yeah. So I've got. You need my finger.
So we're going to watch the other one first. Yeah. This is an opening cinematic for Neon District. It doesn't yet have a voiceover that'll be in there, but you'll get an idea. Oh, there it is. We spent a lot of time on the world building and the art style and aesthetics, and this is woven all the way through the game. The game has active gameplay, so with that, we want to have a more immersive experience, and we spent a lot of time on the comics, the character building. This is basically showing that there's this game that's been sold out, and now the character is going to be directed to go discover it at Neon District.
They seem to be upset.
Yeah.
There's a copy in Neon District. LOL. No.
And then we have another, was that interesting? Do you guys want to see something else? I have another 1 minute of like some clips of.
Is there one of like gameplay?
I have some gameplay. The next one I was going to show is more of the like comic narrative pieces. They're pretty short. The gameplay itself, we tried to make it, but we had lag because our internet was bad. So, but on our Twitter, there's from February like an old demo of some gameplay. But I'm going to be this week putting out an updated like gameplay from season 0, which was a founders program we had over the summer. The whole game right now is being re-optimized and refactored for season 1, which will be public. So season 0 is totally private, closed, like a pre-alpha. But if you pay attention to our Neon District RPG Twitter, you'll see it. Or if you subscribe, we'll make a big push.
I guess so.
Yeah.
Did I have a huge hole in my chest?
Yes, before you became an edit.
An edit?
This is showing the hideout. This is where you'll have all your characters, your main menus.
This, my recently edited front, is intact. It stands for Tactical Analysis Tool. It's a combat version of Share, the standard issue for oracles. She is a Jack, a hacker.
Boss, he's only been in Oracle for like 5 hours.
Just take down those turrets and we should be fine. Chance is a natural, trust me.
So that was just a little montage of some of the clips from season 0.
Yeah, it doesn't look like any blockchain game I've seen. which is really exciting because the whole goal is to attract people into the ecosystem without letting them know it's blockchain, just having the value and enjoyment of the game. And so that's really exciting. Are there other games in the past that you draw inspiration from?
Yes.
What are some of your favorite games?
So obviously, I'm a big Final Fantasy player. Loved that series. I played WoW back in the day, and actually, I love the fact that Vitalik rage quit WoW basically and went and launched Ethereum. I don't know if you all know that because they nerfed one of his characters.
Oh, that's funny.
Did not know that. Well, he was like, "This is the problem with centralization," sort of thing. But I played WoW. But what I actually was frustrated with was the grind and spending hundreds of hours and then not getting anything back. And then games today, gamers are pretty used to spending hundreds of dollars and hundreds of hours and then not realizing any actual value back from that. And I feel like blockchain really is one of the first opportunities to turn that on its head. But the trick about it is that requires a very careful game design. So historically, games themselves, with having an open economy, really subject themselves to ruining their game economy. So the balance between, okay, you're a game company, you still need to make money to be able to make the content for the game, but also how do you design in a way where users could also create value and the time they put into these characters or the gear or the crafting, the skill-based strategy, how can they turn that into something valuable for themselves as well? So we wanted to answer that question, and that's basically why we first thought Neon District was going to be, I guess, we didn't really know what we were walking into back in January 2018, right? We wanted to make an RPG. We thought of it like a most complicated puzzle game we would have ever made, because it's a little bit puzzly in the way that it works, but didn't really understand actually the depth of what this was going to require.
Now, if you had any wisdom to impart to a game developer or someone who wants to get into the gaming space, or even just help bring in, I don't know, someone new into the space without saying, hey, you want to talk about blockchain? What advice can you give? And then we'll open it up to the floor for any questions.
Sure. Well, so last year, about a year ago actually, we put out a cinematic teaser trailer for what we thought was going to be the Neon District world. And it had some Bitcoin, crypto, branding going on within the video. I still really like that video. You should go dig it up if you're interested on our Blockade Games YouTube account. But we posted it on Reddit, and we tried to share it in gaming communities, and people would not even talk to us because of that branding. So we realized then we were going to have to remove that leading with blockchain or Bitcoin or Ethereum association and kind of just hide it, tuck it away, so that people could look at us like we're a real game first. Did I don't think I answered your question. What was your?
No, that's good advice. You're giving lessons right now for other developers coming in the ecosystem, or game developers, or people who just want to develop something for the ecosystem, but to bring more people in.
Yeah.
So that's very valid.
Well, and we've made choices like not having a fungible token so that we can compete in the traditional game markets. So our distribution will be the same as what people are used to. So by making those choices, it felt like maybe we didn't get some of the advantages, like having, it's a great way to fundraise by having a token. So we've had to work really hard to prove ourselves. So constantly shipping, taking our tech stack, shipping early, and trying to, this is a common problem with, for example, games or applications, is people wait too long. We rolled in our community pretty early, with about 1,000 people for that pre-alpha experience, and get their feedback, start working with them directly, because who are you building for? You're building for the community. You're building for people to use your product. So you need to see what they really enjoy and really like, and then focus on those areas. That's awesome.
Any questions from the audience? Yes. We got a box for you, hold on. Good toss.
Did you think about making a geolocation-based game like Pokemon Go?
I'll share an idea in case someone wants to go build it. I think a space invasion game with NFTs would be so amazing. Imagine geolocation-based. There's aliens coming down, right? And you knock them out of the sky. It's cooperative. and then it's crashed, and people can go collect these NFT materials, and then make basically a tower defense style at home for the next invasion, and you don't know when it's coming, and it can be time-based, and like you get a notification on your phone that it's happening somewhere in the world, and you need to send materials to go help people. There's so much fun we can have with NFTs and geocaching for sure. And Pokemon Go just, I think, open source, or yeah, that code was just open sourced for that. So maybe one day when we have like $100 million budget,
Well, that's a good point. Would you, if other developers wanted to contact you, like, hey, listen, I'm inspired by what you're doing. I really want to work with you. How would they contact you? Are you open to that?
Absolutely, we're always open. So one of our advisors is Chris Laverne from Age of Rust, and actually he decided a long time ago, GDC 2018, to work with Engine. We decided not to work with Engine because we didn't want to have the fungible token like as a part of the non-fungible token, what they call like semi-fungible now. But his game is that, and he's building in his 3D world a Neon District, a 3D version of Neon District. He's taking our 2D art and then he recreates it in his world, which is a sci-fi space game. And absolutely, we're always open. So that's one of the fun things is we keep that spirit of the open source community. While we can't open source like everything we're doing, we still want to have partnerships and build because we think actually that's what's going to make this defensible is the blockchain experience with gaming. It's going to be something new that gamers aren't used to, I guess, this cross-company gaming.
That's awesome. Well, thank you so much. It's been great having you here, and we look forward to playing the game when it comes out. And thank you very much, everyone.
Yeah.